Vasa. First of all, welcome back to Istanbul, another season with Efes. First of all, I'd like to ask you about the last season because you know what they say, staying in the top is always tougher than reaching there. So how did you see the last season when you compare that championship to the first one?
Yeah, you are right. It's always harder to repeat a great success, but also when you feel one time that experience and when you have that feeling of winning the championship, you become a little bit addicted of that because it's really unique, and until you don't get it there, you really cannot describe that. So far we made it 2 times, and the second one I really believe it was harder. We had both of times we had a really struggle in the beginning of the seasons, but somehow we found a way to reach the highest goals, which is definitely the great motivation for upcoming season.
Definitely. The pinning point of the last season, of course, was your game-winning shot in the semi-final at your home, at your Belgrade. Of course, you were so excited when I asked you that question on that match day, but when you look back right now after a few months, how do you recall that in your hometown, shooting for the final, making the buzzer beater? What do you think about that?
Honestly, the whole Final Four in Belgrade was like a fairy tale for me because even I didn't score that shot, even we just won that game regularly and then winning the title at the end, it would be perfect. But with that buzzer beat and then beating the Real Madrid in the final, it really couldn't be better. So from this point of view, I really feel even more happy because that kind of experience you don't have so many times in your life, maybe once or twice like I had with Žalgiris.
Yeah, definitely. When we look in the last 3 or 4 years, when the opposing teams were doing switching defense to you, it was always on your shoulder and Shane's shoulder to beat the defense. But right now you have some interior options for this season, like Ante Micic, like Will Clyburn, who they can punish the mismatches in the interior. Do you think it will help you to take off some of the burden off your shoulders this season?
It's a pretty good analysis from your side, but I would say that we never actually have such a precise plan for the game, which sounds a little bit chaotic, but actually it's really difficult for opponents to defend because we have always the spontaneous decisions on the court, which why we try to put always defenders in the 50-50 situations. Of course, we have so many talents inside of our team. With the addition that we made this year during the summer with new players, I can say also that we have better inside game, especially in these situations that you mentioned with switching defense, that most of the team are trying to disturb our offense and our talent. But at the end, I really believe that we should still keep playing the same way of reading the situation in the moment and then find the best solution. So definitely it will be a new challenge for everyone to adjust for our system, but I don't think it will be the problem.
When you hear the big-time signings this summer, like Will Clyburn, like Akila Polonara, like Ante Micic, what was your reaction? Because you already got a championship team for the past 2 seasons and still adding the talent, still adding the big names. What was your reaction when you first hear the names of the new signings?
I'm very happy that we brought some fresh energy and fresh bodies in the team because it's always good. It's always good to have a little bit refresh energy with new players who are even more motivated than us who are already here. They can give us some additional quality as well. And I was honestly a little bit surprised because I know that it's not easy to make any new changes during the summer because we already set the bar very high.
Of course.
And the idea from our management and coaching staff was definitely good to bring everybody together with additional good quality, and hopefully when Shane comes back we will reach our full potential. And it will take some time definitely because we already set some kind of a system that these new guys have to understand, but it won't be so difficult for them.
You talked about the new guys, but also about the old guys. You mentioned about Shane. It was funny for us to see you facing each other with the national team jerseys, and when we look closer to you defending each other, you were laughing, you were doing some jokes, I guess. What was the banter all about when you face to face that game?
It was really strange because since I came here for 4 years, we never played against each other. We were always on the same side. At that moment, we had to behave like professionals. We had to approach that game as any other games. But the beginning was really funny. I didn't know how to behave and how to guard him. For him, I believe as well, the same. But it was great to feel that experience playing for both of national teams, and at the end, really for me, the result of that game was not such important. How important was the experience playing against so many familiar faces that happened that day.
Oh, sure. And of course, your Balkan brother, Kruno, is not with us for this season. So how tough was the farewell to him, or was there any special talks between you in this summer?
He was during these 4 years, and he will be always my friend. And that's the main let's say, definition of our friendship, and the time that we spent here along the basketball. It was more about having our great time beside the court, and I will miss him because he was a really unique person, and he showed me many new chapters in my life with his experience on the court. He gave everyone additional confidence with his talent, with his decisions, with his calmness. But this is life. We have to move on. We have to find a new guys that we already last year. I think we found some of new guys that can contribute very well on the court, including Elijah and the others. So I will miss him, and he will stay forever in my heart, and hopefully he will follow us.
Hopefully. In Sinan Erdem Arena, there's two jerseys in the rafters. Probably you see Coach Aydınurs from the 90s, and also the star of that team, Petar Naumovski. When we recall these 3, 4, and hopefully many more years, and after all this success, do you expect your 22 numbered jersey at the Sinan Erdem rafter in a few years?
I don't know. Honestly, I didn't think so much about that. If that somehow happened, that would be my dream for sure, because I always remember when I signed in Efes, the first dream of signing here was not only to win something, but maybe to reach the level of legacy, like, let's say, Diamantidis, because he was my favorite player since I started to play basketball, and the things that he have done in Panathinaikos with many championships, with many actually good off the court things for the Panatha, the way he built that chemistry over there with everyone, and at the end they how do you say this in English?
Dynasty? Maybe?
Yeah, dynasty, but they took the jersey away
to take the jersey to the Raptors.
Yes, yes, that's what they did for him, and if they would make it here, I would be extremely proud of that. But still, I don't think about it. I'm too young.
Of course. Final question. Of course, you know that Yugoplastica teams from your childhood, I believe, hear the stories at the Balkan states. They were the last team to make three-peat at the end of the 80s and start of the 90s. So there's a pretty solid chance when we look at the roster that you may repeat that success and become the first one in the modern EuroLeague. Was it, when you think about it, is it an extra motivation, or is it some sort of a pressure? How do you see the challenge?
To be honest, looking backward, the way we won the last two EuroLeagues, the one thing that I'm very sure is that you cannot predict really anything. Like the circumstances that happened last year, especially last year, and also the year before with COVID and everything, you cannot count from this point that far what will happen. The reason why we signed new players and the reason why we kept our main guys is definitely the idea to play for the highest goals of the championships. But there are many facts that have to be perfect during the season, including the health status of team, the chemistry, the personal ambition, everything has to be perfect. That then you can really count on some high goals. But for me, the way I approach the game, the way I adjust myself on any new challenge is just going day by day, and that's how I keep myself very focused. Really, I have no plan longer than, let's say, tomorrow, and that's how all these years I kept myself calm and motivated.
Fantastic. Thank you, Jose, and good luck for the season.
Thanks.